Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. In this session, we'll be examining another one of those monthly readings for your birthday month. So let me firstly welcome those of you who've been following this series. And if you're new here, you're also welcome. And if you like what you hear, you might like to subscribe. It's free. This month, because I can, I've decided to add some oracle cards, and the ones I've chosen for this month are Doreen Virtue's Life Purpose. Might not apply to everybody, but these are general readings, and so if you take what resonates with you, maybe come back another time and listen if it doesn't quite click straight away. Anyway, enjoy. This reading is for people born in the month of October for June 2025. And we'll begin with an oracle card. Okay, we'll take that card and put it there, and hopefully it will help tie in the reading. So, what we want now is a colour reading for people born in October to show the way through the month of June. So, let us now look at what is available. You come into June with green on brown. By the middle of the month, you're at white on black. And by the end of the month, it's brown on black. And the underlying energy is white on brown. Well, as we look at this reading, we notice that there are three colours that are repeated. The one most often repeated is brown. It occurs as the underlying drive or motivator as you come into the month. It occurs as the activity with which you leave the month, and it's also the drive or motivator which impinges upon the underlying energy that affects the entire month. Then we have black, which is the internal energy at the major part of the month, and also the drive at the end of the month. And then finally there is white, which acts as the actions undertaken in the middle of the month, as well as the activity of the underlying energy. So how do we interpret all of this? Well, starting with the underlying energy, brown internally is all about motivations. It's about goals. It's about needing to find the sorts of skills that are necessary, the practical skills that are necessary in order to obtain the goals that you are setting for yourself. This is a very practical colour. It's a practical need or drive. You want to get something real in the world. And in the real world, what you have done as part of this underlying energy is you have created that wealth, I suppose, in all sorts of different directions. White is one of those colours that encompasses all colours, but it itself has very little, if any, colour at all. So the white on brown means that all of your ambitions, all of your goals, all of the practical skills that you've set in motion have indeed flourished and gone into an abundance in the real world. Now, from the tarot, this particular combination resonates with the card known as the Nine of Pentacles. So it's got to do with independence. It's got to do with self-satisfaction. And indeed, if you can imagine that all of the things that you've set out to do have been accomplished and done so in a brilliant way, then yes, self-satisfaction certainly is an underlying message of this combination. That self-satisfaction impinges upon everything that happens to you in the journey as you travel through the month of June. So, how does it affect what's coming in? Well, you've still got those same goals. You've still got those same ambitions, the same drive towards developing the practical skills that are necessary in order to achieve those goals. And as you come into the month, you're finding that with green energy as the activator, as the thing that you're doing, you're actually grasping every opportunity that comes your way. Green is the color of discrimination. So you're becoming very choosy, very picky about what it is that you are prepared to do in order to satisfy these goals that you have internally. By the middle of the month, that being able to satisfy needs in all directions is certainly still there. But instead of goals being the internal driver, we now have a need for time out. It's very likely that you will have exhausted a lot of your energy back here if you're chasing every single rainbow that comes your way, knowing full well that eventually you're going to find one that really has the pot of gold at the end of it. Then it's no surprise at all that you would find yourself fairly exhausted. The exhaustion that occurs here is also a need to get away, to have time out, to get in touch with your psychic self. White is also a color of psychic energy, but it's a different type of psychic energy. This is psychic energy splayed outwards, whereas black is psychic energy that's splayed towards inside. And together, the white and black cause a swinging between cutting yourself off and being out there available to anybody, from being highly curious and inventive to not wanting to even know what's going on. Now, this self-satisfaction that you have down here as a result of the white on brown impinges upon this in that the white still remains in the same area, so there's still this outward-going energy, but the black and brown is the repression of some of the goals that you had in mind. Back here, the goals were all in all directions. Any opportunity had the potential for creating success. Here, there is a realization that some of those goals probably aren't terribly good for you. And so you are reducing the amount, the variety of goals that you are prepared to consider. That very much becomes evident towards the end of the month, where now we have black retained in the internal world, but the brown has now shifted into the external world. Now you're finding that the ideas that you have for creating that wealth, that self-satisfaction, now become a hard grift. Brown and black together are a rather difficult combination to deal with. So whatever the choices are that you've made back here, they have now commuted through this period of time where there's been a massive re-evaluation of those goals and what you have achieved in the past. And now it comes straight into how do you now move forward? So what do we have here that's missing that might assist on this path? Well, there's definitely black. There's definitely white. There's no red, no yellow. You do have green. There's no blue. You've got brown. There's no orange. There's no grey. There is no purple. There is no pink. And there is no cyan. So looking here at what you have available, you're really restricting the skills and the talents that you have to navigate through the month of June. On the other hand, these 8 colours here are all about the skills that you're not currently using. So let's have a look at them. Well, cyan, for a start, is all about peace and quiet and bliss and comfort. Pink is about love. It's about being able to give and receive assistance. Blue is all about being able to create organisation within your life. Purple is all about change. It's about catastrophe, but it's also about healing. Then we have grey that's missing. Here we have the inability to look at different points of view. Yellow is about happiness, but it's also about anxiety. Red is about asserting yourself to the extent where you are in charge of your life. And finally, we have orange, which is about the ability to overcome crisis in a very confident and competent way. So I suggest that you choose from among these skills over here, the one color that is most appealing, and then the color that is least appealing, and incorporate those into your life somehow, because they will definitely alter the way that the underlying energy functions. And when it alters that, it will alter the remainder of the reading. Let's see what the oracle has to say about all this. This is teaching. You inspire young people to learn. When we teach children, we try to teach them in absolutes. What is right, what is wrong. We teach them those things because we want to have a moral learning, and there's every chance that that's exactly what you are needing to do in the month of June. It's been an interesting reading. So that's it for your birthday month for the month of June 2025. I hope you've gotten something out of this reading that is of benefit to you. And if you follow along with the advice given, maybe, just maybe, your month of June will turn out to be far more wonderful than you expected. In the meantime, may the colours of your life bring you joy, happiness, and all of those wonderful things that you want for yourself. Until next time, bye.